Hello. It's nice to see you all here. Now, as the more perceptive of you probably realized by now, this is hell. And I am the devil. Good evening. But you can call me Toby, if you like. We try to keep things informal here, as well as infernal. That's just a little joke of mine. I tell it every time. Now, you're all here for eternity. Ooh, which I hardly need tell you is a heck of a long time. So you'll all get to know each other pretty well by the end. But for now, I'm going to have to split you up into groups. Will you stop screaming? Thank you. Now, murderers. Murderers, over here, please. Thank you. Looters and pillagers over here. Thieves, if you could join them. And lawyers. You're in that lot. Fornicators, if you could step forward. My God, there are a lot of you. Could I split you up into adulterers and the rest? Male adulterers, if you could just form a line in front of that small guillotine in the corner there. The French, are you here? Okay. If you'd just like to come down here with the Germans, that'd be lovely. I'm sure you'll have plenty to talk about. Okay, atheists. Atheists, over here, please. You must be feeling a right bunch of nitwits. Never mind. And finally, Christians. Christians. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm afraid the Jews were right. If you could come down here, that'd be really kind. Thank you. Okay. Right. Well, are there any questions? Yes. No, I'm afraid we don't have any toilets. If you'd read your Bible, you might have seen that it was damnation without relief. So if you didn't go before you came, then I'm afraid you're not going to enjoy yourself very much. But then I believe that's the idea. Okay, well, it's over to you, Adolf. And I'll catch you all later at the barbecue. Bye. Well, now, Mr. Perkins, it was good of you to come in. I realize that you're a busy man, but I didn't think this matter could be discussed over the electric telephone.
No, absolutely, Headmaster. I mean, if Tommy's in some sort of trouble, then I'd like to nip it in the bud.
Well, quite frankly, Tommy is in trouble. Recently, his behavior has left a great deal to be desired.
Dear.
He seems to take no interest in school life whatsoever. He refuses to muck in on the sports field. And it's weeks since any master has received any written work from him.
Dear me.
Quite frankly, Mr. Perkins, if he wasn't dead, I'd have him expelled.
Beg your pardon?
Yes, expelled. If I wasn't making allowances for the fact that your son is dead, he'd be out on his ear.
Tommy's dead?
Yes, he's lying up there in sick bay now, stiff as a board and bright green. And this is, I fear, typical of his current attitude. You see, the boy has no sense of moderation. One moment he's flying around like a paper kite, and the next moment he's completely immovable. And beginning to smell.
How did he die?
Well, is that important?
Well, yes, I think so.
Well, it's all got to do with the library. You see, we've had a lot of trouble recently with boys taking out library books without library cards. Your son was caught, and I administered a beating during which he died. But you'll be glad to know You'll be glad to know that the ringleader was caught, so I don't think we'll be having any more trouble with library discipline. You see, the library card system...
I'm sorry. You beat my son to death?
Yes, so it would seem. Please, I'm not used to being interrupted. You see, the library card system was introduced...
Well, exactly what happened?
Well, apparently boys were just slipping in the library and taking the books.
No, during the beating.
Oh, that? Well, one moment he was bending over, the next moment he was lying down. I mean, deadish. Mr. Perkins, I find this morbid fascination of yours with your son's death quite disturbing. What I'm talking about is his attitude. And quite frankly, I can see where he gets it from.
Well, it wasn't me that beat him to death.
Well, that was perfectly obvious to me from the first day he arrived here. I wondered then, as I wonder now, if he might not have turned out to be a very different boy indeed if you had administered a few fatal beatings early on.
Are you mad?
I'm furious. In order to accommodate the funeral, I've had to cancel afternoon school on Wednesday.
This is preposterous.
Yes, it is. Or at least it would be if it were true.
What?
I've been joking, Mr. Perkins. Pardon me, it's my strange academic sense of humor. I've been pulling your leg.
Thank God.
I wouldn't cancel afternoon school to bury that little shit. On the third day, there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee. And it came to pass that all the wine was drunk. And the mother of Jesus said unto the Lord, They have no more wine. And Jesus said unto the servants, Fill 6 water pots with water. And they did so. And when the steward of the feast did taste of the water from the pots, it had become wine. And they knew not whence it had come. But the servants did know, and they applauded loudly in the kitchen. And they said unto the Lord, How the hell did you do that? And inquired of him, Do you do children's parties? And the Lord said, No. But the servants did press him, saying, Go on, give us another one. And so he brought forth a carrot and said, Behold this, for it is a carrot. And all about him knew that it was so, for it was orange, with a green top. And he did place a large red cloth over the carrot, and then removed it. And lo, he held in his hand a white rabbit. And all were amazed and said, This guy is really good. He should turn professional. And they brought him on a stretcher, a man who was sick of the palsy. And they cried unto him, Maestro, this man is sick of the palsy. And the Lord said, If I had to spend my whole life on a stretcher, I'd be pretty sick of the palsy too. And they were filled with joy and cried out, Lord, thy one-liners are as good as thy tricks. Thou art indeed an all-round family entertainer. And there came unto him a woman called Mary, who had seen the Lord and believed. And Jesus said unto her, Put on a tutu and lie down in this box. And then took he forth a saw and cleft her in twain. and there was much wailing and gnashing of teeth. But Jesus said, "O ye of little faith." And he threw open the box, and lo, Mary was whole. And the crowd went absolutely bananas. And Jesus and Mary took a big bow. And he said unto her, "From now on you shall be known as Sharon. For that is a good name for an assistant." And the people said, "We've never seen anything like this. This is great. You must be the Son of God." But the Lord said, "No, I am he who comes before." And they were sore amazed and said, "Then, Master, how shall we know the true Lord?" And Jesus said, "By his name shall ye know him. And he shall have a very religious name. And he shall be called Paul. And Daniel shall he be called." "Paul Daniels," they cried. And the Lord said, "Yes, something like that." Here ends the lesson.
And now, in the latest of our series, A Day in the Life, we present A Day in the Life of the Invisible Man.
Every morning, I go to work by tube. Very soon, however, I get bored and decide to start annoying other passengers. I usually select the most respectable person I can find and blow gently into his left ear. Then into his right ear. Then perhaps down the back of his neck. It's about this time that the man thinks I am a draft. But not for long, because I soon stick 2 fingers up his nose. Higher and higher, removing them just before he sneezes. Then, I start to manipulate some other limbs. Now I leave him alone. For about 10 seconds. When he is at his most vulnerable, I kick him in the groin. And steal his seat.